For some of us, it's a distant dream that we hope will one day come true. For others that may have already managed to build a company from the ground up, it's something that could become a reality in the not-too-distant future. Yes, the idea of selling your own company can be a cause for sadness, as you're saying goodbye to something that you've raised from the ground up. But also excitement, because it could bring you the biggest influx of money you've ever imagined having in your bank account. Not to mention switching a hectic lifestyle, putting in crazy hours, for one with more free time you'll always remember. But as great as having all that money and free time might sound, at some point you'll want to decide what to do with it. So, whether it's a reality you could be facing soon or something you dream will happen one day, it's never too early to start planning and weighing up your options. And today, we'll be looking at some of those options as well as mentioning well-known entrepreneurs who provide excellent examples of how to do them. So let's dive in and take a look at the 15 things to do after you sell your first company. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. Number 1. Make some low-risk investments. So you've had a huge cash payout and you need to figure out what to do with it. You're an entrepreneur, so of course it's in your DNA to look for adventure and take risks. And of course, you're certain they'll work out just like your first business did. But hang on a second. There are countless entrepreneurs who had a successful first company, got too confident, only for their second one to end in failure. So put some of the cash somewhere safe. That way, whatever risks you take, you'll have assets to fall back on. Go for options like buying index funds on the stock market, government bonds, or real estate. These will help you keep your equity and generate income at the same time. Number 2. Start a new company. Preferably one that's going to be even bigger than your first one. This is a well-trodden route to riches that's been charted by some of the best-known entrepreneurs out there. The idea is simple. Sell your first company, invest the money in something bigger, and repeat the process as many times as you can. A textbook example is one of our regular favorite entrepreneurs, Elon Musk. In 1995, he founded Zip2, a web software company, and sold it in 1999, receiving a paycheck of $22 million. Only a month after selling it, he used the money to found X.com, which later merged with PayPal. And in 2002, eBay snapped that up for $1.5 billion, $165 million of that going straight into Elon's personal fortune, racking up the same figures he did as a tall order, even for the most ambitious of entrepreneurs. But the general pattern is one to follow. Number 3. Invest in a company that already exists. Instead of founding something from scratch all over again, you could get involved with one that's already up and running but just needs a boost to help it really take off. And as you're an entrepreneur with a track record of success, in possession of copious amounts of expertise and now cash, you could just be that missing ingredient. And as our textbook example, we couldn't resist choosing the same entrepreneur as before, Elon Musk. Nowadays, we associate him with Tesla so much it's easy to forget that he wasn't one of the original founders. When he joined, Tesla was nothing more than a startup with lots of promise but no proven track record, and nobody can doubt that it's his involvement that's taken it to where it is today. Number 4. Set up a venture capital firm. Tying yourself to one company that you'll be responsible for full-time might not be what you're looking for. Instead, you might want to spread your skills, expertise, and capital over a number of promising startups. If this sounds about right, you could be looking at starting your own venture capital firm. This way, you take everything you've learned on your journey as an entrepreneur, including your successes, your failures, the leadership principles, and the business strategies you've acquired along the way, and you help others use them to give their startup the best possible chance of success. And as a venture capitalist, you'll have bought a stake in these companies. That means that when they flourish, you'll see rewards too. For a role model here, we're going to look at one of Shark Tank's investors, Mark Cuban. He's one of many investors who started off by building his own companies and then selling them, but now focuses on investing in startups as a venture capitalist. Number 5. Minimize your taxes on the sale. So you've just received the biggest one-off payment of your life. Guess what comes with that? That's right, the biggest tax bill of your life. Of course, taxes are important for society to function, but it doesn't seem fair that after years of working like crazy, you get slapped with such a huge bill. So it's natural you'll want to keep those taxes to a manageable level. There are several totally legal ways you can do this. These include seeking capital gains treatment. receiving the payment in stock, which can be tax-free if it's structured correctly, putting some of the funds into trusts for children or others close to you, reducing your tax burden by making charitable donations, and putting some of it into tax-free investments. Exactly what your options are and how you can make them work will depend on the country you're in and your situation, and unless you're qualified in corporate law and tax law, you'll want to get advice from an expert. And as a textbook example of somebody who does this right, we're choosing practically every rich person you can think of. That is, the ones who've never been in trouble for tax evasion, as you do want to do it legally and not end up in jail. The rich are savvy on how to minimize this. So, if selling your first company has made you a member of the Rich Club, it's time to get wise to it. Start acting like the rich person you now are and minimize your taxes. Number 6. Hedge your bets. In some cases, when entrepreneurs sell their company, they get paid in stocks in the bigger company, that is. If this happens, you'll probably want to diversify that stock. It's probably going to be bound up in one company, and there's no knowing if it's going to go up or down. And for some inspiration here, let's look once more at Mark Cuban. In 1999, he sold his streaming company, Broadcast.com, to Yahoo for a whopping $5.7 billion of Yahoo stock. He was smart enough to diversify it, which is just as well because shortly afterward, Yahoo shares took a nosedive in the dot-com bubble. Thanks to his forward thinking, he's still a billionaire and has the funds to invest in countless startups as a venture capitalist. Number 7. Start a charity or NGO. We all have our own ideas about how the world could be a fairer or better place, and we want to turn wrongs into rights. But it isn't often that we have the chance to take action in a way that's going to make much impact beyond our immediate sphere of influence. But you've just had a huge influx of cash and possibly got more time on your hands. So if you feel strongly enough about something, now could be the moment to do something about it. And it's no coincidence that many of the greatest business people out there have the title philanthropist tacked onto their long list of job descriptions. As an entrepreneur, by definition, you do things that solve problems and make a difference. On a smaller scale, this could mean donating to charity or getting involved with volunteering while you're waiting for your next business idea to come along. Or you might want to go further and set up your own charity or non-governmental organization. To inspire us here, who else to look to than Bill and Melinda Gates, who've been named the most generous philanthropists in the USA. Since they began the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in 2000, they've spent more than $36 million on projects aimed at improving global health, emergency relief, education, and eradicating poverty, among others. Number 8. Share your business knowledge by writing a book or becoming a public speaker. The fact you've made it with your startup means that the knowledge and expertise you have is highly valued by others who are in a position you were just a few years ago. We've already talked about the venture capitalist route, but that might be too much commitment for you in terms of your money and time. If you're a great communicator, you could share your expert knowledge and make money from book sales, from speaking at events for startups, by creating a website, a blog, or a vlog, or write online courses in whatever field you excel in. There are plenty of people we could look to for inspiration here, including Warren Buffett and Tony Robbins, who've written books about their business know-how and are highly regarded as public speakers. Or an entrepreneur and a motivational speaker who's been especially active recently, Gary Vaynerchuk. As well as taking his family's wine business earnings from $3 million a year to $60 million a year. He's co-founded a restaurant reservation app, Resy, which was sold to American Express. But he's best known for his public speaking tours, sharing his business know-how with up-and-coming entrepreneurs. Number 9. Invest in some luxuries that will increase in value. What's the point of striking it rich without being able to splash out on some luxuries? And for sure, splash out. Just do it within reason. You could be smart and treat yourself to some luxury items that will actually go up in value, making them smart investments too. Go ahead, build that collection of luxury watches you've always wanted or desirable fashion items. If you go for the right ones, they'll appreciate in value. Just remember, if you're not an expert in the field, talk to someone who is to make sure you choose things that will really work as an investment. Or you could buy something else a lot of rich people do: art. The average billionaire holds $31 million in art. And for a textbook example, let's take the music and film executive David Geffen. He has a net worth of $5.5 billion, of which $1.1 billion, or 20% of which, is invested in art, and has gone on to sell items from his collection at impressive markups. Number 10. Take a break from business and live your dreams. If you've made a lot of money from selling your company, you could be set to retire. For a lot of entrepreneurs, that just isn't an option. That's because it's in their DNA to chase after the next big thing, take in new risks, and go from one success to the next. But not necessarily every entrepreneur. And if it's the quiet life you're after, then go for it. You've earned it. You're still going to be actively doing things. Nobody who has the drive to become a successful entrepreneur is going to spend the rest of their life by the swimming pool sipping cocktails. You'll still be active, and you can still keep learning new things and developing yourself in different ways. And for inspiration here, we're going to look to Tom Anderson. You might know him as MySpace Tom. If you're old enough to remember MySpace, yes, it's 2020, we can say that now. He's the guy who appeared on your account as your first MySpace friend, so it seems like a good time to catch up with him. After leaving the social networking site that he founded, he went through a number of advisory roles in startups, but more recently he stated he's enjoying life as a travel photographer, and he uses his estimated wealth of $60 million to jet out to exotic locations and post beautiful photos of wherever he is on his Instagram and Twitter accounts. What a life. All right, Aluxers, whether you've been there, done that, or are just dreaming about it, for you, what's the most exciting thing about life after selling your company? Let us know in the comments. And of course, for sticking with us until the end, here's your much-deserved bonus. One final piece of advice to any entrepreneur who's sold their first company. Learn to say no. Even if you're not planning on becoming an angel investor or a venture capitalist, you're going to have to learn how to turn people down like one. Once people find out who you are, they're going to start pitching you ideas like there's no tomorrow. Some of them might be great ideas, and with your business expertise, you'll be in a great position to figure out which ones are. But you will have to be selective. And for your role model here, every investor on Shark Tank. They definitely don't have any problems saying no, so learn to be selective and say no just like they do. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxers. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos, which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question on our website, Alux.com. Thank you for being an Aluxer, and we'll see you back tomorrow.